Thank you, Brent.
Yeah.
Very happy to have you here, and I want to tell you first, really, we all appreciate your attitude on the floor, because I was a bit scared, because I was thinking maybe because you are a lead guy, maybe you will come here and maybe don't push like you are in the real competition.
Oh yeah.
And I was really surprised, because I saw when you was doing the warm-up, I saw you take it really seriously. And I want to know about your approach when you come in on a competition like that. What is your mindset? What was your?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, actually. So, this competition for me is kind of primarily a bit of a tune-up competition as I prep for Dubai.
Okay.
That was kind of the purpose here, and but I always kind of feel like, you compete how you train, and I mean, you definitely compete how you compete. And so if I'm going to compete, there's kind of only one speed, and that's game speed, and that's as best as I can do. So there's a few things where, like after the swim, when I put on my shoes, there's a few portions I ran a little slow, because I was like, I don't want to slip and fall. So okay. I'm like, I'm okay with running a little slower. Yeah. But in the workout with the burpee box jumps and the pistols, like that was all I had. Like that was an accurate representation of what I had in that moment. Okay. And so it was an opportunity this weekend to try some different things, like in the final event, to really push the pace. Maybe in a different setting, in a different competition, I might not have ran to that last 100 kilo barbell and immediately went to snatch it. But I was like, well, this is the time to try it. Maybe I'll surprise myself and get it, but I missed. Just frustrating. Took a little break and then I got it. So, it was an opportunity for me to try that, and also try to remember that, for the fans here in Egypt and in Africa, like this is their first time to see me. Maybe the last time they'll get to see me compete. They don't get to go to the games, and so, I don't consider myself. Well, no, it's sports and entertainment at the end of the day. Like that's what it is, right? It's sports and entertainment, and so. Yeah. For me to put on a show and to show them like this is what I'm capable of, like I'm one of the best, and like this is what I can do. And so for them to see it, and I think it's a disservice to do anything but that for the fans, but also for the athletes. Like the athletes in that top heat, it's like, hey, I want to see it. Right? I don't want you to go easy on me. I want to see it. And I think that gives that shows them more respect than if I was to go easy and just go easy. So I think it's a sign of respect, I hope, and also I think, for someone like yourself or someone watching me in the warm-up area, you may be learning something about how seriously I approach it. And
really, it was really beautiful. And so what do you think about the event, about the competition, the organization?
Yeah.
When you compare what you did before, like the games, like other competition, how do you?
Yeah, I think. Overall, it was a really great experience. A lot of people here, a lot of passion, a lot of excitement. It kind of reminds me of, when I was in Australia competing like 10 years ago, or, the first maybe like 2015 in Canada. Like it's still kind of in its infancy. It's still young. There's just not as many like maybe high-level coaches, high-level athletes who are just sort of like really wrapping their head around it and taking it like really seriously. And with, and that just comes with experience, and it will continue to grow. And I'm sure it's grown. It's already been 10 years. I'm sure it's changed tremendously from the first year that Elfit ran, right? And I think it's just like little attention to detail things that I notice, because I'm very particular about how I train and how I compete. And so just small things I notice with, watching athletes, which I see all over the world. I see it in Canada. That differ from the top level athletes, and then just little details of the competition as well that I'm like, like some of the highest, like the best run competitions, like maybe the Granite Games is really well run, and the CrossFit Games is well run. Those are probably two of the best. Little things that they do really well, and I think they've just learned over the years that like Elfit will continue to learn, I think, as time goes on.
Yeah. You see Ryan, the second?
Yeah. He's legit, man. Yeah, he's the real deal.
Yes.
How old is he?
25.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. So, which type of advice you can give him to improve is a fitness.
Yeah, I mean, I had a chance to chat with him a little bit already, and got to meet his coach. His coach seems like he has a really good head on his shoulders. I think that'll help a lot. He was saying he just started working with him within the last, maybe was it a year or so. So I think just having a coach, you don't have to have like the best coach in the world. Like, let's say, for example, maybe Shane Orr is the best coach in the world, right? He coaches Tia, who's the most prolific athlete so far, and Shane is a very, very good coach. But what you need is a coach who's good, that's willing to give you a lot of time and attention, and who's willing to learn, and who's willing to improve and learn with you and grow with you and be analytical and find new things, because no one really knows the answer, right? And so someone like Shane, he's really busy. He's got his stable of athletes. So someone like, Rune was to message him, say, hey, can you coach me? And let's say Shane said, sure. It's like, would he really be getting as much attention as the coach he has now? It's like, probably not. So he needs that hands-on attention, and every day they need to just be chipping away and like, oh, what are we going to work on today? And just strategizing and building together. And then other than that, I think he has all the pieces. He just needs to continue to get stronger. And that was me when I was that age, right? When I was, 21, 22, 23, every year I added like 2 pounds of muscle. It just takes time, because he moves well. He has good endurance, he's fast, good, gymnastics, good body coordination. Like everything's there. He's aggressive strategically. He wasn't making stupid mistakes. Like all the things are there. Just needs to get a little stronger. And I think, even if you and not that much stronger either, right? It's just like, 5 kilos on the back squat, maybe 7 kilos on the deadlift, 4 kilos on the snatch. Like just that little bit will all of a sudden, his pistols will get faster. You know what I mean? That workout at the end there took him 330. All of a sudden, it'll take him 230, just with just a couple kilos. So it's not like a huge change, and that might take a year, it might take 2 years, and then yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Which workout during the event, during the competition, the one you prefer? It was which one?
I liked all of them. I kind of enjoyed. I liked the burpee workout. The burpee, the pistol, the burpee, the handstand walk. Those are things I work on. I'm always trying to improve my burpee speed, try to improve my pistols. It's not like a workout that really favors me being tall. It's just all body weight movement. And so, to have Rune there to push me, and he beat me in the event. He had a great time. Like I enjoyed that. It was an opportunity to see where I was kind of at, and I was happy with how I did on that and how well I executed. Still need to get better, but I like that one. It's just simple. It was a simple event, simple to watch, simple to perform, but there was enough in there that you could definitely separate yourself if you were skilled. It's like, the difference between someone going 5:45 to 6:15 to 6:45, like it was a meaningful difference. And that's what I like CrossFit workouts like that, where, the best person goes fast and unbroken. The next person goes unbroken, but a little bit slow. The next person, the next person has like 2 or 3 breaks. I think those are the purest CrossFit workouts. And I thought that one was just simple, well-programmed, easy to watch, no gimmicks, no frills. Yeah. And it just like, hey, how good are you at, just doing body weight movements for like 6-7 minutes?
Yeah. What about the 5K?
Yeah. That was fun too. I was looking forward to that because I've been running a lot since the games. It's been like probably one of the biggest focus of my training has been some like longer distance running. So again, I was like, oh, this is an opportunity to test that, but my stomach wasn't having it. Went out, to a nice restaurant, and something I didn't agree with my stomach. And so, the first half of the run was just feeling slow, and I just didn't really know why. I felt sick in the morning, but I was like, whatever. And then, at the halfway mark, just had to puke. So had to puke 5 times and then sprinted on the way back. Felt great. So I had like a really good finishing kick, because I think on the way up I'm like, jogging along, and I think like maybe 20 guys passed me. And then on the way back I was able to, I had to stop for a minute, but then I was able to pass about like maybe 12 guys before the finish line. So
yeah. And so at the event with the swim, you went very fast, and because swimming, I think swimming swimming is your thing.
Yeah.
The sandbag. What was your feeling also about?
Yeah, like that one was again, wanted to push the pace on the bike and just have like just kind of tried to treat it like a games workout and not worry again too much about where everyone else was. and just like try to set a strong pace. You know, there's not a lot of opportunities to practice like even transitions. So, you know, like when I'm at the swimming pool, it's not like I'm like jumping out of the pool and like putting on my shoes and going for a run, because it's like minus 20 degrees at home right now. So, you know, so it's an opportunity to, you know, your legs to be pumped up, to kick off your shoes, jump in the water, and then like get out of the water quick, put on your shoes, start running. And like how that feels, and, you know, just those little details matter a lot at bigger competitions. So wanted to work on that. And then, you know, when I got to the sandbag, especially in the sand, it was really challenging. And I just made the commitment. It's like, you just don't drop the bag.
Because of course you didn't see the woman's side.
No.
It was terrible.
Oh, are they struggling?
Yeah.
yeah. So
they
it's
were all totally suffering.
I think a lot of the women here are, you know, they're lighter, I think, than like, especially you see in North America. You know, a lot of the women in North America are a little stronger. I think it's just probably sporting background. You know, in North America, it's like some of the girls play ice hockey, or, you know, sports that require a little more muscle. And so I think the 150 bag is just weighs so much more than them. But yeah, so the sandbag, you know, again, it's just an opportunity. Like, you know, how often do I get to pick up a sandbag while I'm exhausted? And, you know, it's like not something you, in the sand, it's just not something you do a lot. So I was like, hey, use this as an opportunity, learn from it. And, you know, no matter how hard it is, you don't put it down. Yeah. You know, and just every step, just try and go as fast as you can. And, you know, don't focus on the pain, just focus on the next step. And so it's just a good opportunity to work on, you know, games style events, which is fun.
About, you know, the discussion we have last day about the small details we don't see during the CrossFit game when we are watching on the TV. We was talking about the small detail like the shutter run, and can you tell us more about that? How it's important to train on that, and
like the importance of like the small details?
Yes, like technical details, like you know, the shutter run to go and back, the small detail for the sled. You change very quickly the
right.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I think something that is tough, like you mentioned when we were speaking before, is when you watch the CrossFit Games. You know, they're filming it, and they're providing you with an entertainment package that is designed to entertain you, right? Yeah. And so they're trying to tell you a story that they want to tell you, whether it's, you know, like Tia's overtaking the lead, or, you know, 5-time champion Matt Fraser, or wow, look how good this person is. So they're zooming in on things that maybe are not what you need to see as a coach or an athlete to get better. And so there's kind of like, ideally there'd be, you know, a bird's eye view, and you could just watch the whole thing, or zoom in on one athlete and zoom out, but you just don't have that opportunity. But when you're live, you can do that. You can just watch, let's say me, you just watch me the whole time. You can watch Patrick Vellner, whoever it is. And so, you know, all those little details, like when I'm training, I try to make things like difficult in my training, right? So I try to, like if I'm pushing a sled in training, or I have my my magnetic resistance sled from Torque Fitness, it's like I try to set it up in a way that's kind of annoying, as opposed to making it easier. I try to make it harder, and I make rules, because every time you go to a competition, they have rules. Sometimes they're ridiculous, right? It's like, oh, you know, when you get across the line, you know, you have to spin it, and then you have to make sure it's behind the line, and then it's over the line. You know, like there's always like some little rule, and so I always just try to change it. Because no matter what the rule was last time, it'll always be different. You know, the rope climb, it's like, oh, sometimes you can touch and then pinch, and then sometimes it's touch, grab, and then pinch, and sometimes it's touch, grab, climb down below the line, and then pinch. So it always changes, and so it's important to like create a rule in training, hold yourself accountable to that. And so like in the sled, like when I'm pushing a sled, you know, sometimes I spin it, sometimes I take out the post, put it in, and I'm always very like diligent with that stuff. And yeah, I've always taken a lot of pride in that, and I got to train with Tia Claire Toomey in 2017. I think that was before she won her first CrossFit Games. We were training with some Australians in Madison, and she was like that too. So we were doing this workout, and it was like 10 toes to bar, 10 sandbag cleans, push a sled on the turf out and back, and just like something kind of simple. Or it was like push the sled, do something else, come back to the sled. And so with the sled, you know, she pushed it, and she went over to do the cleans, and someone who was there, one of the team, was like turning it around for her. And she said, no, don't turn it around, because she wanted to do it. You know, she wanted to do the annoying, turn the sled around or take the pegs out or load the plate herself, because you always have to do that sort of stuff. And sometimes it's not who's the best at clean and jerks, it's who can load their bar the fastest. It's who can put the kettlebells into the sled, like this year at the games, the alpaca. You know, you have to immediately take them out and start swinging. So it's just those little details. And you noticed in the shuttle run workout, you know, at the games, once every 3 years, there's like a shuttle run workout. Zigzag sprint, hurdle sprint, out and back. And it's a skill. It's like anything else. Like I think everyone that does CrossFit has pretty powerful legs, because we do power cleans all the time and we do box jumps. So we have the power in our legs, but the technique of actually changing directions is a skill that's learned. Speed can be taught, power can be trained. And so for me, it's not something I've ever really been good at, but it's been something I've been working on for the last few years. And you know, I don't work on it as much as an NFL player, because they work on that every day. But you know, once a week or twice a week, I'm doing drills in the gym, or I'm going to the turf and just doing drills, and slowly but surely, you know, getting a little better. And I think a lot of athletes that are here, you know, I was able to kind of, I was able to beat them in that event or beat them in the swim event, because I work on those things, because I'm hoping to go to the CrossFit Games again, and those things will be at the games. But for a lot of those athletes, like for someone like Ruin or Abdur Rahman, it's like that's probably not going to be at quarters or the open or semis. So they don't really need to work on those things. Like it's kind of a waste of time, right? For me, it's like there's like a 5% chance it'll show up at the games, or maybe a little higher than that. And so I kind of have to practice those things, or practice like swinging a hammer, or practice, you know, riding a kayak. But like for them to take that time out of what could be spent doing burpees and back squats and thrusters to go kayaking is kind of a waste of time. But for me, like, you know, running shuttles and practicing the technique of turning those corners efficiently is potentially a really good use of my time.
And what about the fact for the adaptation when you have a new movement coming during an event? For example, the pegboard this time was yes. So how do you approach that?
Yeah, that's a tough one, right?
Because finally you was pretty well.
So I might keep that one close to my chest. So you know, a man's got to have his secrets. Justin LaFranco from the Morning Chalk Up asked me the same question, and so I will say this: I've never practiced a horizontal pegboard. Even before the games, I'd never done a legless pegboard. I'd just done pegboard with my feet up and down. And so I have been doing legless pegboard since the games, which has definitely improved my bent arm strength, right, to hold here. And so again, you know, if you're looking at someone like me versus a lot of these athletes, it's like they need to be getting better at kipping ring muscle ups, the stuff you're going to see at quarterfinals and semifinals, which is mostly kipping ring muscle ups, chest to bar pull-ups, butterfly muscle ups. And so, and rope climbs, maybe legless rope climbs. And so like this sort of strength isn't as important. Like legless a little bit, but you can still get a lot of momentum, you know. But like actually that strict strength like this, it's not really that important. So I've been training that. So like I have that. Now my ability to do those pegboards efficiently, you know, I just kind of have I just thought about it a lot. And then when I did make the decision to practice, I made sure no one was watching. Because I knew, because you know, I was the more famous athlete at the competition. I knew if I practiced and everyone was watching, they might learn something. So those are my secrets. And, you know, and that's part of the game. That's part of the game. Trust me. Like there's an interview with. Who was I talking to? Like something at the games, like something new, right? Like it was, I don't know, the pig, or I wasn't there. And Scott Panchik and Matt Frazier. I think Scott Panchik was doing it a certain way, and Matt goes over and he's like, stop. And Scott's like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, I don't want anyone else to see. Like you and I both know that's the best way to do it, but I don't want anyone else to see. So you and I, like, we know, but like stop doing it when they're watching. And so I will say that, like, that's definitely part of it when there's something new. My God, you know, these tricks aren't free.
You know the double under crossover.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised with this new movement because I don't understand why they didn't go for triple under. Because you know this crossover finally when it's coming on when it show up on the workout, I feel like it's cutting all the rest of the workout, and finally the one who can do properly the crossover is the one who win whatever it did before. And
yeah, I mean, yeah, I was surprised it wasn't triple unders too at the CrossFit Games at least. I didn't make it there, right? Because they had the cuts before that, so they cut from 40 to 20, then to 5, and so I was capable of doing them, but I didn't make it there, which was unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an okay movement. I think it can be hard to judge, you know, like if as a judge you're not visually used to seeing it. Like you saw it at the games where a few athletes, I think Vellner and Danielle Brandon we did a few of them, and the judge said no, and they're like, what do you mean no? Like that was counted. Well, I don't think so. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure. So and whenever you have a new movement, there's really three things that I think about to validate whether or not it's like a cool movement to add in. One is it safe? Two, like, can it be judged fairly? Like, is it just going to be applied fairly? And then three is like, how many people do you predict are going to be able to do it? And is that number like appropriate given the place that it holds in the weekend and holds in the workout? So it's like if you have a 6-event competition, there's only 6 events, and 2 of them have like something really wacky, then that becomes like, a huge portion of the test, right? That's 33% of your points. Yeah. It's basically like, oh, can you do this new wacky thing? So I think that's like a little, skewed towards like luck. Yeah. But at the CrossFit Games, you have 15 workouts, and if there's 1 or 2 workouts that has a new thing, as long as those things can be judged fairly and as long as they're safe, it's like, yeah, sure. And then if, maybe like a percentage of the field struggle and some do it really well and some do okay, then it's like, yeah, sure, Because
for example, for the Rogue Invitational, I thought it was really cool to change the muscle up with the
log, yeah.
With the big yes.
The beam, yeah.
The beam,
steel,
yes.
Yes. Wooden, the wooden
There's
log,
the wood, yes. And okay, that is new, but as you said, it's easy to judge, and also you can adapt, so the workout don't look like the athlete don't look like they just because at the game when they start to do the crossover, most of them wasn't able to do it.
Yeah.
And for the people who's watching, it's kind of boring.
Boring, yeah. Yeah, it's weird to watch, to watch something that's supposed to be like inspiring and amazing, and they're all just failing, and it's kind of like, okay, this is kind of a little anti, climatic. Yeah, and so with Rogue, like I think the large wooden thing was fine. I think that for the women it should have been smaller. Yeah. Because women have smaller hands, right? And so it clearly was pretty skewed.
Yes, it's difficult for the setup, I think, to change the.
Yeah, they could have had one further back. Yeah. It's easy for me to say that, having not been there or not run a competition myself. Like it's always very easy in hindsight to critique programming, but to do it proactively is more challenging. But yeah, no, I think as a whole, like, was it good or bad? I'd say it was good. Maybe like a few less reps, like to have 40, it became like the central component of that workout was just like, who's good at this new thing, as opposed to, we'll sprinkle a few in, like, maybe 15 in the middle of the workout, and you kind of go up, do 15, come back. Maybe that would have like still allowed you to separate yourself a little bit if you were good at it, but still tested things that are, a little more commonplace, like a GHD sit-up, a skier. But I think it was still good. It was cool.
Yeah. The next question, for Africa, it's very important to have athletes like you coming and competing with the local athlete, because as you say, we have not so many spots to go to the game, and so this world about the athletes, the top level athletes, and do you think it's possible to get more athletes coming here to compete on local competition?
Yeah, I don't think it's impossible. I think it's just It's just a time and money question, just to be completely honest. So like, for example, I was here and, you know, someone from South Africa said, oh, Brent, you know, maybe we'd love to have you sometime, like to do a seminar in South Africa. Like you come train and maybe, you know, teach us some stuff. And I just said, honestly, like if I'm just being completely honest, for as long as I'm competing, it probably won't happen. Because, you know, from February to August is open, quarters, semis, games. Yeah. I got to stay at home. I got to train. If I go anywhere else, it's to train and compete for those events. I might go train like with someone else at a high level to like do a training camp and prep, but I'm not going to go to Africa, right? Because it's just too far. It's jet lag, you know, money, all that. So it's like from February to August is a write-off for a top level athlete. It's just not going to happen. So then you've got September, October, November, December, January. So you got 5 months. So in there, it's like, you know, for me, I want to go see my family at least twice because during February to August, I don't get to see them as much because I'm very busy training and competing and all my travel is spent doing that. So it's like, I got to go see my family. And then with the other little time I have, it's like, I still need to train, right? I need to prioritize training. Every plane flight takes a day and a half off training, you know, and those days matter. And then maybe I want to compete once, or maybe I have to do something for a sponsor, like a photo shoot. And then if I want to compete, so maybe you compete twice in the off season, like most people, I'd say on average twice, like Justin Medeiros maybe once, Pat twice, I don't know, Tia once, right? It's like they're probably going to go where the most money is. Yeah. Because, you know, if you were their manager or their dad, you say, Dad, where should I go? I'm like, go where the most money is, kid. You know, like it's like it's good advice. It's just good advice. And so like I wanted to come here to, you know, to see Egypt, and it worked well because, you know, it was before Dubai, and so I'm going to train here, warmer climate, same time zone, and then you know, it'll be an easier trip to go to Dubai and just be ready to go. But yeah, like it's not gonna always work for everyone. It's not out of the question, but it's just a hard sell. Like the year goes by oddly really quick, even though there are 365 days. It's just I have to say no to a lot of things. It's just the truth of it. Like a lot of people say, oh, do you want to, you know, do this, or do you want to do this, and whether that's like go for dinner on a Saturday night, it's like, nope, got to wake up Sunday morning and, you know, clean the garage because I haven't done it in a year because every day I train. Or, oh, do you want to go to a movie Sunday night? It's like, well, no, I got to go to bed early because I got to train Monday morning. I got to get 10 hours of sleep. And then it's the same as like, hey, you know, like come and do a seminar, or come and do this competition. It's like, well, if I say yes to all those things, then all of a sudden I won't make the games. And then the only reason you want me there anyway is because I made the games. So it's you know, and that's just being like, that's kind of the reality of it. So you have to like be able to make them an offer they can't refuse. It's kind of the hard thing, or just, you know, get lucky. But yeah, it's tough. busy man. Yeah, it's a busy year, and like, you know, I don't, you know, sometimes don't get to see my family as much as I want just because I'm, you know, it's a busy job. So yeah.
I have a last question about the tall guys. Do you recommend something for the tall guys? Because I know for the CrossFitter it's more difficult to be tall.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my coach and I were talking about that just before this competition. We were just discussing some stuff and changing how we talk about things, and we laughed, and I said, we never mention how I'm tall. We don't, you know, like it's not like when a workout gets announced, we don't go, oh, another workout for short guys. Like it's not even in our vocabulary. It's not part of the conversation. Yeah. And we're starting to not even say like, oh, this is a good workout for you. Oh, you know, this isn't such a good workout for you, but you know, we're going to do this and this. It's like, we just look at it and it's a puzzle. It's like, how can we create a strategy and solve this puzzle and get the best score? And so, you know, for tall people sometimes have the same problem as short people. It's like, oh, I suck at squatting. It's like, some short people suck at squatting. Oh, handstand push-ups. Or, you know, I mean, I've had tall athletes say, oh, Brent, you know, like you, I too struggle with snatches. And I'm like, actually, I've always been really good at snatches. It's like my best barbell lift. So it's not a tall guy thing. It's just you, you know, and some tall people are really good at deadlifting because they have long arms, you know, whereas I'm not as good at deadlifting just because I'm not strong enough, you know, like weak core from swimming. So it's just like, you know, so it's like whatever you suck at, just get better at it. And so the interesting thing is, yes, like when you're talking maybe like standard workouts in like the CrossFit Open, it's not as good for tall people because it's phone booth fitness. Like you're in a little phone booth and you're just vibrating in place, up, down, up, down, up, down, left, right, left, right. And it's just like a lot of repetition. So yeah, like if you have further to travel, it's going to be theoretically more challenging. But at a competition like Elfit, when you go through the workouts, it's like, I don't know, like a lot of those workouts are fine for, a person that's 6 foot, 205 pounds or whatever. It's like, tall people are good at swimming, tall people are good at biking, running, and, even like, and as the weights get heavier, you need to be heavier. Mass moves mass. So it's like, you can fit more mass on a taller frame. Obviously, like carrying a sandbag is always going to be easier for me than someone who's 5'5", just get my arms around it. So oftentimes once you can, as a tall person, believe that once you pass over the crest and just get good enough at the, the burpees and the chest to bars and the lightweight snatches, that you can get through the qualifiers. Once you get to the in-person competitions, things can usually go a lot better for tall people. So, but you have to put in the time on the cycling gymnastics and the lightweight movements, because then once you get to the competitions themselves, usually you can be rewarded in a lot of workouts. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate, and I hope we will see you again in Africa.
Yeah. Hopefully one day we can come back
during your between your busy time.
Yeah, I know. There's so many places I want to see, and my wife and I want to travel to. But this has been, it's been a great trip so far. We're excited to spend we've got about another 6 days here in Egypt, and going to see the pyramids tomorrow.
So after that, you go directly to Dubai, or?
No, so I'm gonna train in Cyprus for a little bit. We've got a friend that lives there. Okay. And so just train, like do a little sightseeing, but just like kind of chill, and it'll be nice for my wife just to see the beach and the baby and stuff, just to kind of hang out, and then I'll just go train, and then we'll go to Dubai like just before the event starts, kind of. So it's expensive in Dubai. Cyprus is much cheaper. So, like hotels and stuff is like so much cheaper, and it's I think it's like a 2-hour time change, so it'll be fine, and it's just as hot, so it'll be good.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.